Welcome back to the channel. So we're here with our little Harbor Freight trailer. About a year and a half ago, I think it was last year, about April, we built this trailer and we've been using it ever since. The title of that video was Good or Junk, or is it worthwhile or is it junk? We're about to find out. So the reason I didn't go into detail in that video and say, I love this trailer, it's great, it's not, whatever, is I didn't use it a ton back then. Like I said in that video, it was mainly just to throw a four-wheeler on and go, 5-10 minutes up the road and go for a ride, so I didn't have to go get my big trailer, which was 15-20 minutes away when I was at that location. You can see now that we're in the new shop, and this trailer is lucky enough it's going to live inside the rest of its life. So it's been outside up until now. About a week ago or so I brought it in. So the plywood on it is looking a little bit weathered, but the trailer itself is holding up great. We use this thing a lot. I was hauling firewood with it behind the four-wheelers, moving axles for the cars. When we moved some of the stuff over here from the other shop, I loaded that thing up and brought it over, loaded the car trailer and whatnot. So we've been abusing this thing pretty good. The only thing I will say I haven't done a ton of is long distance highway driving. So there's a lot of guys in the comments on the other video, and they're saying, they moved from California to Vegas, and they went from Florida to Tennessee, and whatever. So I'm going to leave it up to them to say, yes, the trailer was great on the highway, or no, it wasn't. The furthest I've gone is about half an hour, 40 minutes up the highway. And like I said, I don't really want to comment on that, but you're not going to do anything more than I've done to this thing. Like I said, I bought the upgraded, this is a 1,700-pound version. It has 5-bolt wheels, and it's missing a little brace up here in the tongue. There is an 1,100-pound version for about $100 cheaper, and it has that little brace there and 4-bolt wheels. So depending on what you think you're going to end up doing with it, go ahead and purchase whichever one you want. But this trailer has been absolutely incredible. It's great. Let's go ahead and look a little bit closer at the wooden stuff, and I'll show you how it's doing, what I wish I would have done, whatever, and we'll go from there. So as you can see, the plywood here on the deck, it's damp right now because it was outside for, I don't know, like I said, it's been outside its whole life, kind of, for the last year and a half. I brought it in about a week ago, but I don't have heat in this shop yet, so the wood is a little bit damp, but it's not doing too bad. It's got these little, on the corners here, where the bolts go from this crossbar to the end wall here. There's a little bolt, so the plywood kind of like curls up, kind of like a bowl. I mentioned it in my last video there that I was going to try and put a piece of plywood underneath here or countersink the holes or something just to get that plywood to sit flat. That never occurred. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's been like this for the past year and a half or so. And it's been outside through the winters, through the rain, through, it's been in the sunlight, everything else. The trailer itself has held up really well. I'm really impressed with it. What I should say I didn't do was the wiring that runs up to the tongue, to the ball, that you're gonna plug in your car for the lights and everything. I kept it a little bit tight, and I did that. I zip tied all the way along. It goes up this tongue bar here, and then it jumps over in the frame and then down wherever it's got to go. I kept it tight there, and I wish I wouldn't have. And the reason I wish I wouldn't have is there's 2 pins here in the front. There's one on this side and one on this side where those tongue bars come out. And if you pull those pins, you can tilt the trailer. It'll snap from the ball area here to the deck. You can pull it down and you can drive up on it easier. Like I said, my wiring's a little bit tight in there, and I don't have that ability now. What I can do is, I believe when I built this thing, I'd have to go back and check the film, but I believe I left the wiring curled up in case there was a problem. Back there at the back, I could cut it off and, put a new butt connector on or whatever it is I got to do. So I believe I can do that and just pull some forward to give it that flex that I need to be able to tilt. But I do have that little ramp, aluminum ramp set up in the back, which I'll show you next. And I didn't really need the tilt, but I mean, I guess if it can do it, why not use it, right? So that's one thing I wish I would have done. The other thing I will say is this thing is a pain to back up. When I first built this thing, I had a little F-150. Now I have an F-250, and one, it's so narrow you don't really see it behind the truck. So you start backing up, and then it's like, it's all jackknifed, and it is what it is at that point. So if you're going to be buying one of these and planning to do a whole bunch of, you know, reversing into a parking spot or down beside a shed or something for whatever you got to do, it's hard. It is really hard, especially behind a big truck. This thing usually lives behind the four-wheeler now. Now that we're out at the new property, my car trailer's here, so I don't really have the use for this one that I used to. But like I said before, it's perfect for hauling firewood and garbage out to the road and whatever, stuff like that. So behind the four-wheeler, I don't find it bad to back up, but I'm wondering if that's because of, you know, four-wheelers are a little bit different steering ratio and that kind of stuff to start turning it. And I can see it a lot better when I just turn my head compared to a truck where you're using just your mirrors. So it takes a little while to see it pop over to the side, and once it's there, it's almost too late to correct. So I will throw that word of warning out, but other than that, I love this thing. It's absolutely incredible. So I guess I should have thought this video through a little bit more, but I don't have the ramp here that I usually stuff into this little area that I made. So I can't show you exactly how it goes in, but I'm sure you can get the gist of it. What I did was I took a couple pieces of aluminum, bent them like this where the ramp is going to ride on. It comes up. It's about 1.5 inches taller than the ramp, so I don't have to worry about like perfectly getting it straight. You can just kind of throw it in whatever angle. And then it goes this way here under these cross members where I bolted it up. You might say that this hangs down quite a bit, and it does, you're right. So if you imagine this was full, the axle did hit it in the middle and it wouldn't let those springs compress all the way. So what I did was I cut a little notch out of just this bottom section here. So kind of like a C-notch in a truck. So what I did was the ramp goes in, and usually what I do is I just pull these two D-rings up, and I run a ratchet strap from here under the ramp and then back up to that D-ring. So the ramp has a lot of room in there to move up and down. So let's say you hit a really big bump or anything, the axle is going to come up and just hit the bottom of that ramp a little bit. To me, it doesn't really matter. I don't really load this thing that heavy when I have the ramps in it. And, you know, like I said, for the majority of the time, I'm just doing something with a four-wheeler behind it or whatever. So now that it's here, I don't even leave the ramp in it. I just leave them over in the corner. Of course, like I said, today they're at the other shop, so I can't show you how they slide in, but just believe me, that's how they go up. And then what I did to stop the ramps from going out the front is I just drilled a hole through this bottom plate here, up through the bottom, and I put a nut and a washer on the bottom of it so the bolt sticks up high enough that that ramp can't go past. It's just going to hit that bolt and it won't go forward. So if you hit the brakes real hard or anything, it's not going to come into the back of you. And then, like I said, I just run a strap like this. My end goal, or what I wanted to have done, was just drill a hole here right in the center and just put a piece of flat stock that will rotate on that bolt. Gravity will hold it down, and then it'll stop that ramp from coming out. When you want to get the ramp out, you just pull it up with one hand, you can pull the ramp out and then drop it again. So that was my end goal. I never got around to it. I just threw the ratchet strap on there and called it a day. The four-wheelers and stuff, climb right up on it. You don't really need them. But to move a little lawnmower or something, I've done that a couple times, riding lawnmower and stuff. It's real nice just to have that ramp and right up and on there. The other thing I will say is with this added piece on the bottom, it stops the back end of the trailer from dropping all the way and hitting the lights or anything like that off the ground. So you may not have a use for a ramp underneath this thing, but like I said, it does stop those lights and everything from smacking into the ground or anything coming up and hitting them. I did rip off the license plate, which goes on this light over here on the driver's side. Behind the four-wheeler, I was, you know, turning a corner or whatever, and I hit a stump, and that was it. It was gone. So I just drilled it and moved it forward to the bracket. If you remember, there's supposed to be two wheels that sit up between the fender and the tail light, and that's when you fold them, it rolls around on those little baby casters. There's two wheels on each side. I didn't end up using those because I'm not using that folding function on mine, but there's a bracket there already on the frame, and that's what I mounted the license plate to now. So other than that, I mean, this trailer has been absolutely incredible. If you're looking for a small little utility trailer, like I said, pull behind a four-wheeler, you're gonna pull your lawnmower with it every once in a while, or you know, you're just trying to move little stuff, little load to the dump or anything like that. This thing's absolutely awesome. I would not hesitate to buy another. You know, if and when this thing ever goes, I'm just gonna buy another one of them and use them again. So I'm pretty confident that you'll be happy with it. I certainly am. And that goes to say a lot for a $200 trailer, right? Or $300 trailer. So for under 400 bucks, you can have this thing done. I believe it was 6 or 7 hours to put the thing together. So that's it. I mean, it's a great trailer. Thumbs up, Harbor Freight, and keep it up. We'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great one.